What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to review the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. So I was really debating whether or not to do this. I thought at first, oh, this is a slam dunk kind of thing. Then in terms of me wanting to do it. Then I watched the movie, and I thought, I really don't care to talk about this film, and I feel like that's maybe like the thing that hurts this movie the most. There are definitely, and maybe you can tell already by my voice, like I did not like this movie. There are things that you can definitely point out and say, yeah, that was just the dumbest thing I've ever seen, or there is no character development, there is no plot. That you can go and you can get very specific, and maybe we'll go through a couple of things in this video, but I honestly feel like maybe the biggest weakness of this movie is you just don't care after. But I feel like Halloween Kills, I also did not like for actually different reasons, but I really did not like that movie whatsoever. But at least I didn't like it maybe so much that I thought about it, and sometimes I still do think about that movie. I just, sometimes I'm just sitting there and I say, wow, how bad was Halloween Kills? And, by the way, we can have differences of opinions and not agree on stuff, and it's totally cool. I respect that. I know, or at least I hope you guys respect that. Oh, and also, by the way, don't come at me saying that I hate everything, because on my main channel, I reviewed the Uncharted movie, which I actually surprisingly, and I said that in the video multiple times, I surprisingly really liked the Uncharted movie. So, movie industry-wise, they were 1-1 on last Friday because they both came out the same day. One was actually surprisingly really good. One was not surprisingly really terrible. So yeah, honestly, to me, the biggest weakness of the movie is you just don't care whatsoever once you're done. It's an hour and 23 minutes, and I actually can't believe that because it's so short, and I do think it actually kind of works for this movie because, again, it doesn't actually try to do anything. So it's not like you have to be there for long. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be a 2-hour movie when you're trying to do nothing. It could be 5 minutes and it could accomplish the same goals. No, in reality, the one thing I will say that I did like about this movie is the kills, which is fascinating. And I do want to kind of get into this whole psychological thing I'm seeing on Twitter, because Twitter really was a wild ride when it came to this movie. The first, I would say, half of the day on Friday, it seemed like everybody hated it. And then all of a sudden, it became the cool thing to do to call the people that didn't like the movie trolls, or you don't understand horror, or you just have bad taste, or you ask for too much in your horror movies. That really became the defining thing that I have noticed in terms of Twitter talking about this specific movie the past 3 or 4 days. Everybody didn't like it at first, and then all of a sudden it became cool to label those people that, obviously they don't know what they're talking about, which is common, and that's kind of what's taking it out. Now, again, I have a couple things to say about that, and in terms of the kills, I like the kills. I actually think the kills, maybe in some ways, were better than the kills in Scream. Now, you may not know me, or maybe you do. I'm not really a horror guy whatsoever. I'm really not. Scream is kind of like my primary go-to. It's one of my favorite franchises of all time, and I love The Thing to Death. I've talked about it, obviously, on these channels quite a bit, but it's real. I don't watch a lot of horror. With that being said, I don't think that takes me out of the running to talk about them, because again, that's when people say, well, you're not allowed to demand things from your movie. You have to expect nothing, and then when you get nothing, it met your expectations. You shouldn't have been expecting anything special, as in a story or characters that you remember their names even during the movie, or any kind of character development or any kind of plot development, or anything, really any. See, that's where I really get a little frustrated. Maybe you can tell my blood is boiling. I have high blood pressure. I honestly have a problem with that, because the kills were cool. They were creative. He killed people in multiple different ways. Cool. He killed people, I would say, in actually more creative ways, again, than Scream. Not really comparing them anything beyond that, because I don't think Scream's honestly even in the same category here as a Texas Chainsaw Massacre. No, but so once the kills were done, though, that's it. And so what I would say to the people that said, well, there were some cool kills. Yeah, but everybody's going to die, right? At least I did, and I don't even care for these movies. I truly don't. But I knew everybody was going to die. So it's also very hard in the way that they do it to make you care about them. See, at least for, and I guess I'm going back to Scream, at least for Scream, you don't know who's Ghostface, and you don't know who's going to die. You know what I mean? Now, some people are, or most of them are, but you don't know which ones. In this movie, really, you can label the people that are going to live, and then everybody else is going to die, and that really takes away from caring about them. And it's not like the movie then helped, because the only guy I actually liked was the mechanic. I can't tell you his name because I don't know his name. The older sister was definitely solid. I like her. I believe she was in Happy Death Day to You, which I completely forgot about that, but I actually really like both the Happy Death Day movies. She did pretty good. They didn't give her anything at all, but she did good with what she had. I did not like the younger sister whatsoever. I didn't really like anybody else. I would say the younger sister just, to me, wasn't all that great in terms of acting, in terms of writing, in terms of a character. I would say that. The other characters, I wouldn't blame them in terms of how bad they were, because they just didn't get anything in the movie. Again, you can get specific. There is no story. It's literally, the whole movie is just to get you to his kills. That's it. And again, that's fine, but why can't we expect or ask for or want? Why can't we have like more in a horror movie than just cool kills? You know what I mean? I guess you could really say the same thing for anything. Like if it's a big blockbuster movie, and I think you honestly can say the same thing. Explosions are cool, and it's cool to see fight scenes or, stuff like that. But if like that's the entire movie, yes, there's a place for it, and maybe some people get their fix by that stuff. So I totally get it if people like Texas Chainsaw. You know what I mean? Because it's just a thing. Like people go for that. I understand that, but I also don't get truly why we can't have that. So keep the cool kills, but like, can you do other stuff too? Or like, are we only allowed to ask for one thing? That's what I truly never understood. I said the same. I'll have to go back and watch it because I haven't watched it. But in my Halloween Kills review, I'm almost 100% positive I probably said the exact same thing. Seeing Michael Myers kill people, yes, is that one of the primary reasons you go? Yeah. But if it's the only reason you go, I don't know. Again, like that's fine. That's you. You be you. Don't change because of me. You be you, but I'm not like that. And this is my review. So, I get to talk about it. And honestly, I don't think there's an overwhelming majority of people on planet Earth that go to these things for one. You know what I mean? I kind of feel like they would do better if they were a more well-rounded film. Now, again, there's exterior factors. I mean, Texas Chainsaw was on Netflix. Halloween Kills was on streaming and, in movie theaters and during all this stuff around the world. So who knows what it would have done normally. And then if it was good, could it have done better? I'm just kidding. Actually, I'm not. But you know what I mean? I want to be fair. I want to be fair. I want to understand. I think I do understand why people like these films. I'm not blind. You know what I mean? It's not like I just can't grasp it. But it's just this movie didn't have anything. I didn't get attached to any character. The plot of the movie was like a social influencer group. Like, are we serious now? Are we serious? They kicked the mother figure out of the house because they have the deed, but they don't actually have the deed. It was just to get her to die, so then he loses his mind and goes off. It's like, holy God. And again, it's very clear it's just steered to killing everybody. Like, that's why the movie exists. The bus scene. Honestly, I will say this. I think the bus scene was maybe one of the like least entertaining of all the kills. I actually thought when the sheriff and the other guy, like the two cops, were taking the mother and then she died, and then there was like that tension with the girl. Now again, I don't know this girl's name because she was in it for 4 seconds, but she's there, and I think there's a lot of tension because you see like the body being dragged. I actually was kind of like on or off edge, on edge, whatever the phrase is. I was that during that scene because it's like he's gonna pop in or pop up or whatever, but like which side of the car is he gonna come? When is it gonna happen? So like I think actually they did a pretty good job with suspense, I guess suspense, tension. There was some of that. There really was. I think there was good horror elements, and you could say, well, Alex, it was a horror, so did it succeed? Honestly, no, I don't think it, because that's not enough. It's to me, it's not enough to watch whatever the kill count of this was, right? 25 people to see them all die. Interesting, I guess. Did I need to watch the movie for that? No. Did the movie provide me anything else but besides that? No. And unlike action, again, this is just kind of a personality. Like, you may not feel it, I may not feel the opposite, right? I do feel maybe for like more action-y thing. Like if a movie is just, say, like martial arts. I'm a martial artist myself. I love martial arts. I've done it like my whole life since I was 6, okay? So, or like a Cobra Kai. But Cobra Kai has other elements. But let's just pretend. Cobra Kai, if it was just martial arts and everything else sucked, I would bias-wise, enjoy it probably more than I would enjoy this because, like, you know what I mean? The one thing that it does well, the one thing that definitely it kind of promotes as its highlight, I'm into. But it has nothing else. Still, though, I would expect of myself to call it out for the other things. I want to make that clear. So, again, that's like a personality thing, right? If it has maybe martial arts or cool set pieces or cool kind of action moments, as long as they're a certain way, I am more inclined to like it, and maybe I'll give the other things more of a pass, much like people would for movies like this, okay? But again, I think we all need to kind of come together and say, well, why do Michael Bay Transformers movies besides the first one, you know, they're cool explosions and action scenes, but can we have that and then also a story, also characters, also like, you know, cool, you know, like can we have those things or are we only allowed to just have the explosions? Like what, you know what I mean? So I think we need to call that stuff out because I do think you can have a Texas Chainsaw movie that has an okay premise and like you actually care about the character. Really, again, maybe the older sister is the only one, maybe, but also there's just some laughable things with her. Laughable, including when he threw whatever it was, like the hammer object from the top of the stairs, he whips it at her. Now, that is probably the same force that he used to bash that guy's head in upstairs, okay? He whips it. It hits her in the chest and she falls through. She goes to the basement. She falls. She gets hit so hard. The velocity is so much that she enters a new floor, okay? And she walks it off. Nothing happened to her. You'd be dead. You would be entirely dead. So, again, is it the most realistic? I mean, there were some times I think it was a little bit more realistic than others. You could say, though, like it was with Sally. By the way, what in God's name was that all about? Obviously, they had seen Halloween or they had heard about it, and they said, we need to do this. Oh, wait, but the original actress died. Well, let's replace her. Oh, and also, let's have her die, and let's really only put her in the movie for like 3 minutes because that's what people really want to see. And then she's going to die. By the way, if you get a chainsaw stuck through your stomach, and then you get thrown into a pile of trash, which is a pretty good analogy for what the movie is, I think you're dead. Just kind of my thoughts. I think you're going to die. Like, countless times, people should have died, and they didn't die, or they did die. The guy in the house, the guy, you know, who was looking for the deed, he gets, like, slashed. He's dead. He's just bleeding everywhere. And then he gets up, has, like, a second wind, and then dies again, only to then, like, the reasoning for him to get up, leave, and then die a second time was just to get the mechanic to go up so he could die. That was like, you know what I mean? So everything was just to get somebody else killed in this movie. So there was that too. I actually completely forgot about Sally because when you're in the movie for 2 minutes, it just kind of goes over my head. So that's the situation. So, you know, I was a little worried to record this review, but you know what? I feel good about it. These are just my opinions. If you don't want to go based off me, fine. There's a really negative fake news thing with me that I hate everything, and honestly is so stupid and wrong that I can't even believe it. But you know, when you see this review and you see maybe the Halloween Kills review, you could say, well, Alex, maybe you hate movies. Not true. Uncharted. Again, let me just go back to Uncharted. You can go on my main channel too. There's a lot of positive reviews on that channel as well. So let me know what you guys think, if you've seen it or not. Let me know if you thought it was a waste of your time or not. Make sure you're subscribed, bell icon turned on, all of that good stuff. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all on tomorrow's video.